by little, then I had Mike Bloomingfeld come in from Bloomingdale, and he said, is there a manager or an owner? He asked to one of the ladies that worked in boys, and they said, yes, she's over there, that's Carol. And he came over, he said, my name is Mike Bloomingfeld. He said, I am one of the partners of Bloomingdale's. And Bloomingdale's was just a block away from us. We were on 60th and Madison, and there was 60th and Lexington. He says, well, how do you get the people to sit down? And how did you get the license? I said, well, first of all, you don't need a license for makeup. You only need a license for hair and manicures. He said, oh. He said, well, how do you get the people to sit down? I said, well, the problem is you never even tried because you thought you needed to have a license. First, you hire the makeup artists, whoever they may be, and little by little, one makeup artist after another will tell you which one for you to keep because you know nothing about makeup, and that's what you do. And he said, well, would you help me? So I said to Mike Bloomingfeld, I said, I'll show you what to do if you will take my lining. He said, of course. I said, so you'll sell it like, and put it in a good space. And he did, and I said, that's very interesting. So, little by little, the department stores would start coming in and asking me questions, and so forth and so on. But when they came in, it is because they had actual customers that saying, do you know where Boyd's is, this makeup place? Till this very day, and I started many, many years ago, if I just mention my name to anyone that's 45 and older, they've been in Boyd's. There is, without a doubt. We were doing so well that after a while, I had 12 makeup artists. And that's when we had to take another store next to us, and we just didn't have enough room. And we put everything in, and one time the lights went out in New York City, and there were no lights whatsoever. And so everyone was working with candles. So I got some phone calls from some ladies from out of town, and they said to me, we came in to see our dentist and to have our makeup done, but how can we? There are no lights. I said, I don't know about the dentist, but if you want to come in, we'll do your makeup by candlelight. She says, you will? And so we did do that. And when we started to do that, people from outside saw that and began to wait online to come in because we didn't have that many areas where we would have candlelight. And so there was another write-up, and we got write-up in business magazines where it was just fabulous. And then we started to get calls from places all over the country that do franchise. And we said we did. So we started to franchise. We had a store in California, New Jersey, Pittsburgh. I could go on and on. After a while, we even had a store in Canada and in Mexico City. And I would sell them a certain amount of makeup. We would teach their makeup artists. And people were just calling and calling, and they all wanted franchises. I even had small drugstores that were not around me. Maybe they were in another city. Can we use your name, Boyd? I said, yes, if you buy our franchise. And we did so well. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like 10 stores in one. And after a while, we found that we were now going to China, looking for other things. And I found out so many things that I had never known before. Like everyone sometimes, I don't even know if I should say this, but some of the most expensive lines and some of the most fantastic companies buy most of the things in China. What they do is they buy the bulk, send it home, and then put it into their own bottles and jars. And so, in other words, I was able to get almost the same things, but just put them in my jars and pencils and stuff. And I said, this is so unbelievable. Everything was going fantastic. While we were in China, we were there, we were walking on this wall, which is around for thousands of years, and it's one of the 8 wonders of the world. And I see a woman way down there with a board bag, and I had my own bag. I'll show it to you there. It's stunning. It has a face and makeup, and no one else could do anything like it because that was mine. And so I ran over to her, and I said, you buy from Boyd's? She says, you too? I said, I'm Miss Boyd's. That's what they only knew me as Boyd's. I even made cards up as Carol Boyd after a while. And she says, oh, how exciting. Can you imagine meeting you in China? And everything was going well until 9/11. And after 9/11, things really went down, and we could not afford the new lease because this Madison Avenue had become so very, very important that even if you didn't do well, just to be on Madison Avenue was terrific. And so my landlord asked for a humongous amount of money. Even when we said yes, he said no. And so what we did is we opened up 2 other stores, but not on Madison. And so what we lost was our people from Europe, our people from all over the country, and we just had the people that lived around, or that they would come in and they'd maybe go to a store and say, you know where Boyd's is? And eventually we just had to close down. We started to sell our things wholesale, which we're still doing now. And my son now, Mark, is running that business. I'm there for buying because I'll always buy. That's my forte. I don't like anything to do with bills and that, and paying for things, but just show me the things and I'll put them together and no one will even know what I'm doing. And so that's what I did, and it was very, very exciting. And this continued to go on and on. When we finally did close down, they said an institution has closed down, Boyd's Madison Avenue. But now we're on TV and we're doing all sorts of things. And there are people that call up and they're asking for old things, and I say, yes, we still do them. And I am most 90% retired, but if it comes to buying anything new, or if you want me to go any place, I'll go. And I'll see if there's anything that we can add. So we were known to do things that no one else did, and we had tremendous makeup artists that started with me and then went to have their own line, like Trish McAvoy. You heard of her? Mm-hmm. She came in for a job, and she was very good, and I was showing her around. And after about a year and a half, she married this man and said she was going to go into her own makeup. And so she did. She's selling through department stores. But we had a lot of that. But what really flabbergasted us is the people that began to come in. If you can think of any celebrity, I will tell you yes. From Grace Kelly to Onassis. And we had a private room. She said, I don't need a private room. So there's a little Irish girl making her up. And the Irish girl had no idea who she was making up. So she was talking to Jackie Onassis. And Jackie was saying to her, oh, I love your accent. She says, never lose it. She said, well, I'm trying to lose it, but okay. And as she's doing her makeup, this Irish girl is getting pushed from the other makeup artists. And she says to them, "What do you want? I'm doing a makeup." And they said, "We want to tell you something." She said, "When I'm finished." And they said, "No." And she kept saying no. And she said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she goes over, and they tell her, "Do you know who you're making up?" She says, "Yes, a very nice woman, and she has a lot of patience." They said, "That is Jackie Onassis Kennedy." Kennedy, the president's wife. And she came back, and she said, "I just found out, I don't think I could finish because my hands are shaking." She says, "But I'm just going to call my parents in Ireland now and tell them what I'm doing." And they said I would not make it in New York. And I'm telling them that I'm making up the president's wife. Of course, by then she was married to Onassis. Her sister would come in, and her sister would say, "What did my sister buy?" And I'd say, "Well, she just bought a very expensive mirror." Well, they said, "How much?" I said, $1,200, because we had mirrors that sell till this day. We still sell them, $6,000 mirrors. Would you believe it? And I was shocked when we came here, and I didn't believe that people still remembered us for the mirrors. And anyway, so she would say, "Whatever you did for Mrs. Onassis, you do for me." Anyone, they all came in and they said, "Could we fiddle around?" I said, "You can." And I said, "But there's one makeup artist here that's so good, and she'll show you a new thing." And so they would do that. And then I got write-ups, and as you probably read that my brother living here in New York would come to New York just to get a chair and sit there all day just to see the stars. The president came in, the president's wife, there were kings and queens and the bodyguards. It was the most exciting time of my life. And I just couldn't believe it. And then I once went with my girlfriend to a spa, and this lady said to me, "Whose makeup are you wearing?" So my girlfriend said she's wearing her own, Boyd's. So the woman said, "Oh, Boyd's, you're Boyd's, oh my God." She says, "I've been dying to come in." And then little by little, all the stores were about to take my whole line in with booths, make it big. There was Boyd's in Pennsylvania, a very, very big department store. Humongous and very, very well, been around since 1907. They were going to do it was going to be Boyd's, they would call Boyd's from Pennsylvania, and they had only men's, and I said, "We will have only women's." And 9/11 killed that and a few other things. So, but we were really, really going. Anything that Mac is our makeup. We would have a few makeup artists work for us. Within a couple of weeks, they were working for them, and everyone was coming in. You had people that had so many of their own cosmetic lines. They would come to the makeup artist and say, "What sells?" And the makeup artist would tell them. They'd say, "Well, give us 2 of everything." And they wanted that just to duplicate it. And it never stopped. And I might be telling it fast, but it was the most exciting thing. I was definitely a movie star. Because I couldn't go any place without someone, "Do you know who that is?"